Hi, welcome to Group 7's presentation. Immoral leadership has now become a widely discussed topic, and many scholars have studied as a research topic. This article has launched research on several popular topics about unethical leadership. For this presentation, we are going to aim to highlight various research journals and experiments conducted and answer the question, is one's character permanent? We divided this speech into three important points. The first one is one's character and Myers will determine how they act as a leader. The second one is in order to be a good leader, it is essential to possess the right character traits. And the last one is bad leader possess character traits that would not only hurt their employee and also the organization.
Now, moving on to our theoretical foundations part of our project, we found that based on Robert Hogan and Ryan A. Sherman's theory of character and personality, they prove how people adapt their personality through evolutions by learning from the character and personality of people who are around them. Moreover, in order to prove this theory, Hogan has created a personality test called a Hogan Personality Inventory Assessment. This test is often used in determining whether an employee is a follower or a leader type. Since the test evaluates people's everyday personality and how well they get along with their peers, it is a convenient way to determine whether or not they have the potential to become a successful ethical leader or not. Not to mention, personality traits that both ethical and unethical leaders can also have be explained in OCEAN model, which is an acronym for openness, consciousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Ethical leaders tend to be more successful, meaning that they often provide a positive impact on their peers to be ethical as well. On the other hand, unethical leaders often fail to persevere in their moral beliefs.
Moving on to our group position, our paper is essentially to challenge Robert Hogan's personality theory by stating that characters are permanent. And the reason are because that our personalities has been restricted by our genes in that they prevent our personality from evolve from our predetermined values, thus making our characters permanent. Next, unethical leaders are unable to change because their behaviors create other unethical leaders, which leads to their inability to change. Next, especially their narcissistic nature prevents changes by creating behavior that prevents changes.
Our first key argument discusses how personality is programmed based with a study on marmots. According to a controlled study done by Patel et al., professors who are members of the European Society for Evolutionary Biology, an academic society dedicated to biology, argues that personality lacks the ability to change because of a strong correlation between personality traits and an individual's genetics, which can cause their personality to change by using marmots as test subjects. More specifically, researchers designed 4 separate experiments to test the correlation between personality traits with genetic factors or environmental factors. These 4 traits are docility, activity, sociability, and exploration. Each is respectively similar to an aspect of the known personality model of OCEAN. This graph is a result of the data taken from the experiments as scientists quantified the marmot's reaction on a scale of 1 to 10. Looking at the graph, each bar represents the correlation between that particular personality trait and data point. What we want to pay attention to is H2P and H2B, the first 2 column darkest and second darkest, as these 2 are particularly uncontrollable. H2B, hereditability and of the behavior, meaning how much of our DNA determines a particular behavior, while H2P refers to hereditability of personality trait, meaning how much of DNA determines a particular person's trait. Our second key argument discusses the cycle. First, ethical leaders produce more productive employees. Ethical leaders create a sense of trust and compassion with their employees. Employees will feel more cared for and will display that in the quality and quantity of work that they produce. Second, who you surround yourself with can shape who you are as a person. When an unethical leader presents themselves in front of their employees will begin to pick up on their unethical ways. Employees will then convert to the leader's unethical ways. Third, how your leader acts can determine how you act as a leader in the future. Research also suggests when an unethical leader acts a specific way, this could shape the way you view a leader. You may fear any repercussions from that leader, and they will force you to conform like them. This will then become a part of your character in the future. Finally, key argument number 3, the effect of narcissism on unethical leaders. The narcissistic leader has a very big impact on the whole team and even the company. Because of too much self-behavior, many negative results may occur. First, they may make rash decisions. The primary motivation for narcissists is to seek leadership, is to construct the external world by gaining power to support their needs and vision. Considering the self-interested motives of narcissistic leaders, it is not difficult to understand their incredible decision-making behavior. Many narcissistic leaders resist the suggestions of others and attribute more of the success of the organization to themselves and blame others for their failures and shortcomings. They are particularly prone to make mistakes in professional judgment and personal behavior. And because of their super arrogance and arbitrary decision-making, the impact of their decisions and behaviors is often greater. Finally, they can cause damage to the organizational atmosphere. On one hand, narcissistic leaders support some bold ideas, which can inspire employees, suggestions, and behaviors, and are regarded as visionary innovators. On the other hand, narcissistic leaders are willing to exploit others' achievements, arrogant, and criticized. Sensitive, self-centered, with a strong sense of superiority, they lack empathy for others, which may pose potential harm to the organization. Because of their blatant contempt for the views of others is not conducive to the formation of a good organizational atmosphere. The characteristics of narcissistic leaders, such as great joy, are also not conducive to the formation of an organization that is conducive to the creation of sustainable performance.
As for the rebuttal on this argument, I will begin by stating that many organizations of all sizes have had to face the negative impacts of unethical decisions and actions that not only hurts the business, but other employees as well. Unfortunately, unethical behavior continues to be an increasing issue. To reduce this increase, education and training must be enforced within organizations at all levels. Companies must put in the effort in being able to guide their team in the right direction, or that company may have to face major downfalls. Despite these efforts, education and training does not guarantee unethical acts will be avoided, but will help reduce the likelihood of it happening. To conclude, many factors contribute to generate a person's character. These factors can range from a person's phenotypic or genetic code, their environment, and their personality traits. Overall, the influences that shape character are most often out of one's own control. Whether an individual is aware of their own unethical behavior is questionable. However, without awareness or consequence of one's own consciousness, character will remain in its permanent state. Please refer to the final page for all sources and link citations for this presentation. Thank you.